What's up guys, F-Focus, and we're back on Tarkov, and due to the title of the video, you guys probably know what this is. That's right, the tips video is finally out. It's taken a lot of time to do because once you go over all the hidden key bindings and shit, there's really not much more you can go over as far as tips go, other than like different routes to take, certain guns to use, and all this other shit, but that stuff is kind of self-explanatory and people already know that. So, I just kind of wanted to talk about a couple stuff just before we jump right into it. There's been a bunch of stuff going on lately as far as the whole channel goes and as far as my personal side of it go. I work like 50 hours a week here lately since the holiday season, and I'm just constantly busy, whether it's family or work, so I don't have much time to get on the game, and if I do, it's kind of just on the personal use, and I try and put out as much content as I can recently, but you know, obviously that's hindered, and so most of the time it's blocked just because of work and personal life. But I mean, I know you guys understand, and there's a couple other things. I honestly feel as if I've busted my ass for this channel. It takes a lot of time and effort, especially the time part, just to edit videos, a nice video that you're happy with, that you don't just think is a piece of shit. And I hate just putting out videos that just feel like trash to me. And sometimes I feel like they're trash, but other people say, no, I like it. So it's like, all right, whatever, you know, maybe this isn't so bad. That's the whole thing as far as like full gameplays. I personally think that those are just like an easy getaway, but a lot of people actually like them. So I plan on putting more of that type of content out there. And as far as the channel goes itself, I appreciate the positive feedback, and I even appreciate the negative feedback. But there comes a point when it just seems like jealousy, and it seems like immaturity being pressed on. And I get that, you know, I'm 23 years old, you know, I'm actually an adult, been on my own since 17, and I've pushed, you know, myself to go where I am now. I have a full-time job, I have a girlfriend that we've been together for a while. You know, everything that we have, you know, is because we worked for it. And so for someone to come up and say, hey, listen, you're a piece of shit, you don't deserve it, you need to do it my way, it's like, you know what, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You know, you're more successful than I am on that aspect as far as YouTube goes. That's great. I appreciate it. But this is my channel. So thanks, but, you know, no thanks as far as that goes. Anyway, intro's been long. I just want to let you guys know, even though I don't have monetization on this channel and there's no AdSense account linked to it anymore, I'm just gonna do it for free. I got a Patreon as if you guys want to help, but you don't have to. You know, I just enjoy doing videos and talking to you guys, so it doesn't matter to me. I know a lot of people don't like this whole talky bullshit, so you guys can just skip past this. But I'm just gonna upload videos for free. I'm gonna continue on this channel because I did work hard for these subs, so hopefully we just keep growing, you know. But that's been a long part of all that stupid shit. So let's move on to the tips, yeah? So just keep all that in mind. I'm not trying to be a dick on it, but, you know, whatever. Alright guys, so moving past all that stupid shit, and knowledgeable stuff going on with the channel, I know most of you guys are here to watch the tips video. So starting off at tip number 1, is to do with Blindfire. Now like I said, once you go over all the hidden key bindings that Tarkov has, it's really hard to try and come up with other things like this, but the new thing that's been introduced is Blindfire. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about it, but maybe a lot of you guys don't know about the side Blindfire. So to Blindfire, you just press and hold Alt and then press W, and you'll Blindfire up over an obstacle, like if you're crouched behind a concrete slab, or just anything really. Any obstacle or object that's in front of you, a car, you can Blindfire over it. Now, the key bindings that most people don't know about are to Blindfire to the right. Now, this can be shooting out of a doorway, or shooting around a pillar, or just a corner of a building, or anything like that. That's to your right. That's a larger obstacle. Hold Alt and S, and you'll actually pull your gun to the right-hand side. Most people don't know about that, so there you go. Hopefully that was informational and knowledgeable, and you guys can use that. It's super accurate. It's just like point fire or hip fire. It's extremely accurate as if you were to lean around the corner and aim. So definitely try it out. Alright, so moving on to tip number 2. This has to do with the whole med system. It got completely reworked in the biggest patch that happened not too long ago. So all the meds are different. You can't spam more than one med at a time, which obviously makes sense. So just to give you guys a little bit of help as far as what I run there's multiple variants that you can run, and mine's always overkill because I hate to be in a situation where I need something I don't have it. So I always want to be in a situation where I don't need it but I have it. So I hope I said that right. Whatever. So I always run in my pockets 3 AI2s and 1 IFAK. Sometimes I'll run 2 AI2s and 2 IFAKs, but because of the price difference and just as far as money cost goes, 3 AI2s is more than sufficient. And I always hotkey 1 to 4, one of my AI2s, and my IFAK I always hotkey to 5. And the reason I do this is because I always heal with my AI2s. They're really expendable. The cheese is easy to get. So I'll use my AI2s to heal a limb, and if it's bleeding, then I'll use my IFAK just to take blood loss points out and not actually healing points out as far as your total vitality or hit points go as far as that is all concerned. So I always do just the AI2s to heal the overall health of the body part, and then use the IFAK to fix the bleeding. Now, I just now started doing this. Most of the time I'd only run 5 pains or 3 pains, but here lately I've been running 5 pains in the bottom of my bag, and then 1 pain up in my rig, so I can pop it at the beginning of a raid, or as soon as I'm getting shot at, I'll immediately pop it, so in case I break my leg or something, I can still run. But like I said, that's overkill. You do not need 6 pains or 5 pains even. 3 pains is enough, but sometimes you get in a situation where you get your leg blacked at spawn and you want to rush over, but obviously there's going to be obstacles in the way of rushing over, and you don't want to be limping at all. That's the only reason I go overkill like that. It's not necessary. And then down in my gamma container, I like to run a Salua, just for extra healing and blood loss prevention on it. And then I like to run either another IFAK or morphine, usually in my top corner. And then I'll run a grizzly at the bottom of my gamma. The reason I run the grizzly is because sometimes if you get shot in the leg and it gets broken, and or arm gets broken, and you hit your AI2 immediately, it'll heal it, but it'll still be broken, obviously. And I don't run splints, so I just run the grizzlies, and I'll fix the broken body part or even bleeding if it's both, But that's usually how I go along with all that, So you don't have to run that. If you can't buy grizzlies or get your hands on grizzlies, or you don't want to pay for grizzlies, they're really not as of a necessity as they used to be. You can run another Salua and then 2 splints, or even just another IFAK down there and 3 splints. That'll be more than enough, and it's way cheaper. I've just had a bunch of grizzlies in my stash, so I'm just trying to get rid of them. But that's just the med run that I do every single time I go into a raid. But like I said, it's up to you guys. Alright, so tip number 3 is Prefire. A lot of players don't know to Prefire, and it makes sense because this isn't a Call of Duty game, or this isn't Siege or Mystic Siege, but it's still just as effective in Tarkov as any other FPS as far as all that's concerned. It works in DayZ, it works in this, it works in everything. Obviously it's more so in Call of Duty and Siege because those are more of a run and gun type game, but it still works in these type of games like Tarkov. The idea of it is if you're being shot at and or know where somebody's position is or where they were last, it doesn't matter if they're there or not, when you go around the corner, go through a door, go through anything, whether it's especially in dorms, on customs, you go up the stairs and you're on 3rd floor. A lot of people camp to the left and some people camp to the right, and most people will camp somewhere peeking down the hallway. If you bolt up there and spray and pre-fire around the corner, you'll most likely kill them. And or you'll spook them enough that they'll back away, and then now you have the advantage as far as the angle goes. So pre-fire is a pretty big thing that I don't see very many people doing. My buddy Salty Tyler does it, and he pre-fires all the time, and he usually gets most of the kills when he's, that's how he presses and pushes dorms and clears dorms, is he pretty much pre-fires everything he does. He just got himself weaned off of going to the extraction, and as soon as we go down into the extractions and customs, he would go around the corner and pre-fire. Most people don't camp those anymore. That was kind of like a couple patches ago, but he just weaned himself off of it. But Prefire is an extremely effective thing that I think more people should pick up and start practicing. Alright, so tip number 4 is a complete contradiction and opposite of tip number 3. And tip number 4 is hold an angle. And this, like I said, they play off of each other. Tip 3's kryptonite is holding an angle. Getting pre-fired is kryptonite is holding an angle. And holding an angle's kryptonite is Prefire. So the reason this kind of works, and the reason I have this on the tip, is because most people do not pre-fire. So if you're holding an angle, just like in Siege, the new meta in Siege right now is hold an angle, and that's been the meta in Tarkov I don't know how long, and people somewhat use it, people somewhat don't use it. So like I said, not very many people pre-fire at all, because one, you only have so much ammo as far as this goes, and a lot of people don't bring very much, so they like to savor it, which doesn't make any sense to me. And two, people just don't like to do it. They like to wait to see somebody before they fire because it gives away a position. And if you pre-fire around a corner and you don't hit your target, then they know somewhat of where you are. Whether it's suppressed or not, you can hear it if they're close. But because people don't pre-fire like that, if you hold an angle, 9 times out of 10 you will win that engage. Especially if they don't know where you are and you can get the first shot off. But even if they do know where you are and they kind of go around the corner and they're waiting to see you before they fire, you will have the first shot. So chances are you should win that engage, unless you just absolutely potato. But we all know it's not going to happen, you know. So just like I said, it's a complete kryptonite to pre-fire, and also vice versa. Pre-fire is kryptonite to holding an angle. But more people hold angles than they do pre-fire.
Got another one.
So be that type of group. Jump on the bandwagon. Hold an angle. Those guys are successful because they hold those angles. Alright, I've been seeing this more and more lately, and it makes me both happy and sad. The pilgrim bags. People still use them. So tip number 5, leave that shit at home. Sell it. I just sold all my pilgrim bags, and I got like 400,000 rubles. Just sell them. That's a nice chunk of change. So, like I said, just sell them. They are so noticeable. I've used them a couple times when they first came out because I was like, wow, these are kind of cool. But I've also been killed those couple times because I've had a pilgrim bag. I don't know how many people I've killed with pilgrim bags, and most people are coming to their senses because of other big YouTubers and streamers that haven't been using them. So it makes sense that you wouldn't want to use them because your big favorite streamer doesn't use them. But I still see some people using them. So like I said, this tip, leave that shit at home, sell it. Don't even have it here, you know? They're so noticeable. At least with the tri-zip, they're kind of bulky, but they're really not. You lay down and you're still hidden. You can still be those campers that you'd like to be in Tarkov, and you can hold angles and all this other shit because you're not as noticeable. But if you have a big Ninja Turtle shell on and you lay down, not only is it really bulky and sticks up off your back 5 feet, but it's fucking purple. So they can see it and go, okay, well, there's obviously somebody, and they can line up a shot before you can probably even see them. So sell them, leave them at home, just don't bring them in the raids. Alright, tip number 6, check your corners before you go blind. Now, the reason that I'm saying this, and let me elaborate, I don't mean physically go blind, but I mean before you go stasis and stationary. Before you don't have control of the surrounding and, you know, every area around you. When you don't have control of that, meaning you're not having your gun ready to fire and or looking around, you are going to get killed. Cotton made this a tip. Cotton is the reason why I have this on the tip on the list. He uploaded a video not too long ago of him hiding in the bathroom across the hall from Marked Room, and he killed so many people, scavs and PMCs, because they just don't check their corners. I don't think he was the first one to do it, but I do believe that he was the one that made it big and popular. Obviously that comes with some disadvantages. Most people don't do it now because everybody does check that just because of Cotton, but that's the main spot that they check. Apply this to your entire Tarkov experience. Don't just check the bathrooms, check everything, you know? And I'm not saying doors, I'm saying every corner you go in, everything you go around. Don't just run blind and aimlessly around, you know, like a run and gun Call of Duty type style. Actually check your surroundings and your corners before you go blind. Don't unlock a 218. Don't unlock, you know, 114 and 2-story. You know, don't unlock checkpoint unless you have somebody watching your back and or you check your own surroundings, you know. Don't just go blind and stasis, just stationary around this entire open area and or this small corridor just because you're assuming, oh, I haven't heard any gunshots, nobody's here. That's the whole beauty of holding your corner and camping in Tarkov, because people just assume the worst and you get a kill. So check your corners before you go blind. Tip number 7 is something that most people do, but not really. Aim for the head. You know, it seems self-explanatory. Well, of course, why would I not aim for the head? That's the most bullshit aims I've ever heard. Yes, I understand that it sounds retarded, but at the same time, if someone lays down behind an object and you can only see their feet, obviously go for what you can hit, you know. But at the same time, if you can see them and they're not moving, reposition to, you know, for a better shot to where you can hit them in the head. And this is where this kind of gets hazy. Most people will say, well, I do aim for the head. I see somebody laying down looting, or I see somebody laying down stationary, I aim for the head. Exactly. That's the easy way. But at the same time, if you go inside dorms, or you go inside factory, or just anything with, you know, short, mid-range engage, even long-range engage, most people let this tip kind of drown out and mellow out. Don't. Go for it, you know. If you're being shot and you're shooting at somebody and you guys are returning fire toward each other, aim for the head, man. If it's an M4, SKS, AKM like that, and you hit them in the head, 1 to 2 shots, depending on distance, will drop them. Most of those times when people empty out clips and shit, I mean, that's it, you know. I understand if they're a moving target and they're hard to hit, you're gonna want to just aim for them in the chest, but I encourage you guys to practice your headshot aim, because regardless, a hatcheter, a fully geared player, Kivers only protect so much, and some of this ammo that's out there and some of these guns, you know, using the right ammo on them, will drop a fully geared player with fort and everything in 1 shot. The M4 ammo, the 995, I believe is what it is, and there's a couple other variants on it. And even the AKM ammo, even the PS shot. The PS works beautifully. The BP, you hit them in the head, it'll drop them. 1 shot. And you have, if they have fort on and you hit them in the fort, it takes anywhere from 5 to 8 shots before they will die. Just do the math on it. I know it's harder to hit, but just aim for the head. Alright, tip number 8 is the dialogue wheel. Before, you would just press Y to open up the wheel. Well, that's changed. Now you have to double tap Y and it'll actually bring up the dialogue wheel. Now, a lot of people don't really care about this, but some people find it funny and it makes for a good video, especially if you're going for more of like a less serious type of video, or even maybe a serious video, and it'll scare people and whatever. But you double tap Y and it'll bring up the dialogue wheel. And you can highlight over the different gestures and the different commands. And if you actually right click on the command you want, it'll bring up your F keys, and you can actually hotkey them to those, so you don't have to keep double tapping Y and clicking something you want. And you can do a hotkey for gestures and commands. Tip number 9 is going to talk about contacts. Now this is just going to shine some light on the contacts themselves, the benefits and disadvantages of using them. Obviously the big advantage of using them is increased sound. It will make the footsteps of enemies so much louder that it's going to be easier to pinpoint, tell you, and kind of let you know where they're going, especially if you're playing nighttime or in rain, because it'll muffle out that ambient noise so you can hear footsteps more. But at the same time, they make your own footsteps louder as well. So they're really great for holding a corner in an angle, but if you're sitting there sprinting, it's going to be really hard to hear somebody else moving. But anyway, some disadvantages that they hold. When you wear contacts, you feel as if you can hear everybody moving around you. But a lot of players become clueless when they have contacts on, because you can't hear the little things that are right in front of you. They increase footsteps, but that's about it. And the biggest thing that I see with contacts are gunshots. When you hear gunshots in Tarkov, loud gunshots, even suppressed gunshots, but you hear them and you judge the distance and where you need to go, especially players like myself. There are different kinds of players in Tarkov, and a lot of them will be like, oh shit, gunfire, let's go away from that because I don't want to die. But then there's also the other type of player in Tarkov that says, oh shit, gunshots, let's go right toward it and let's fuck some shit up. So obviously, depending on whatever player you are, the contacts will literally stray you away from where that gunfire is. The contacts make gunfire sound closer than what they are, making it really, really hard to pinpoint where that gunfire was. If you're at spawn on customs, right there at the beginning of the bridge, and you hear gunfire at convenience store or overpass, it will sound like it's at new construction, right there, right in front of you by ice cream. So you got to be aware of the kind of distances. If you can master the contacts and know it, fine, then you'll know exactly where the gunshots is. But at the same time, you got to be careful, because it makes the normal everyday hearing on it much more difficult. So a lot of times whenever I play contacts, I'll wear them whenever I'm kind of in a stasis mode and I'm kind of waiting for people just to run up on me or something, and I'm not really moving. Other than that, if I hear gunshots, I immediately take them off, and I proceed to go where I thought the gunshot was, and if I heard it again, you know, whatever, whenever I get up near to where the gunshots were, I'll put the contacts back on. So it's kind of just your own play style. If you like them, great. If you don't, great. But this is just kind of to shine some light on what contacts offer and what they are. Tip number 10 is kind of a funny one, most people would say. Just like Shia LaBeouf said so very well, just do it. Right? That's what tip number 10 is. Just do it. There's a lot of times when you hear some fire and or you're being shot at and you shoot at somebody and they go behind cover to where you can't see them and you think, oh shit, do I reposition? Do I stay here? The first thing that comes to your head, do it. Do not second guess yourself. If you're sitting there and someone's shooting at you and you're holding the angle and you think, okay, they're repositioning on me. I think they're going here. I think they're going to go here. I should run out here. And then you say, I better not do that. You're second guessing yourself and you're going to probably get killed for it. Now, obviously it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes it'll go off in your, in your favor, but it's Tarkov. You're going to die. So just let it happen. But a lot of the times when you second guess yourself, this is the same thing. This is a big thing on trivia. When you play trivia and you think, okay, what's the answer? You can think about them forever and ever and ever, but a lot of times you're more knowledgeable than you think, and you'll remember things right off the bat quickly without sitting there overthinking them is essentially what it is. This is a big tip that I used in my life when I was younger as far as skateboarding. I used to skateboard with my older brother all the time. And we'd go outside and, we'd skate stuff, and I'd do something down a set of stairs, and I'd be like, oh shit, I don't think I should do this, because I could break my arm, I could hurt myself, blah, blah, blah. I'm second guessing myself, I'm overthinking it. So if I would have just done it, and I wrecked, okay, whatever, I know what it's like, so now I'm second guessing myself, It's much better to just do the first thing that pops into your head, because over half the time, that'll be more beneficial than if you didn't, and you just second guessed yourself. So, like I said, Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Alright, this isn't a tip anymore. These are just kind of bonuses or to reiterate things I've already gone over before in the past. As far as the new updates and everything go, obviously a lot's changed in Tarkov, but not as much as you'd think. Another big thing that I really want people to know is if you're hunting PMCs, okay, and you're at spawn, especially on customs. Customs is the biggest example of all this that I can think of. All the PMCs spawn on one area around the customs warehouse, and there's only technically 4 points of interest to get off of that so-called island or spawn zone. You can sit there and watch the spawns, yeah, no big deal. If you don't spawn over there by the 4 exit points on the spawn, then chances are someone's going to escape because somebody spawned near them. But a lot of geared players on customs now take their sweet time. They like to go loot the warehouse, they like to loot all this other stuff because there's reward in looting. Before you'd be like, there's only a couple key points on looting, let's go rush to those. Obviously Mark Room's a big one that people want to rush to, but there's a lot of good stuff at spawn that people like to loot. And a lot of geared players will sit there and wait. Especially if you spawned over by one of the exit points, you can literally push into spawn and kill people. I call it PMC hunting. Salty Tyler and I do it all the time, and we wipe out 4 or 5 players and either clear the whole customs map of PMCs, or there's only 1 or 2 PMCs left. And we can usually pinpoint where they go, vice versa. So it's very easy to hunt PMCs on customs and clear the map of them, so you don't have to worry about PMCs at all anymore. Obviously you got to worry about scavs and player scavs, but they don't have the gear that PMCs would have had. So like I said, PMC hunt, know the spawns, and you're golden, my friends. And then another big thing is slow walking. I still don't see very many people slow walking, so please utilize that powerful skill. It's absolutely incredible, so try and utilize it. And another big thing, assume that there's going to be a group of 5. When you kill 1 person or 2 people, assume there's more, please, because a lot of times you will get killed because you're saying, oh, I killed 2 of them, or I killed 1, oh, I finally killed his buddy, let's go loot him. Assume that there's more. Wait and kind of hold on the spot a little bit, and just like the other tips, check your surroundings. Check everything before you go blind. And the last tip that I want to say as far as this bonus goes, and it's very important, just do you. If you like a gun with the stock AK, the stock version of the AK, then fucking use it. If you like the M4 with the shittiest ammo, because it offers a challenge for you, then go for it. If you like the fucking terrible sights that you can attach to the AK-74, then use them. Do not listen to somebody else. Don't use Cotton's gun because Cotton's good with it. If you're comfortable with something, then do it. Do you. That's the biggest thing that I can say. And guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Sorry this video took so long, and sorry if you knew most of these tips. This is just trying to help you guys out. And again, sorry the video was real long at the very beginning and everything. I was just trying to talk about things that have been going on. But that's it. I appreciate watching. I really, really do. Hit that like button, subscribe, share if you want to. And as always, enjoy.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers.